Hello, my name is Helen at helenforamerica.com, and we are here to elevate your American dream. Today, during this time that we have allotted, I would like to go over some of the important details of employment-based green card applications. As you know from all the materials that we have supplied you with, there are three very basic but very important steps for an employer to follow so that their employees can apply for a green card at the end. It's not a guaranteed process. In fact, it's very difficult for an employer to be approved for not only wage determination, but also recruitment to prove that there is no workforce available in America for this particular job. So number one is the wage determination and recruitment process. The wage determination and recruitment process is very similar to the H-2 visa process if you have been through that. And once you are through that process, you will have shown the Department of Labor that you have a job description, you have a wage determined for that job, and that you have looked everywhere in the US for this particular worker and you have not been able to find it. At that point, you have in your hands a certified PERM process. Once it is certified, the second step is also very important because then you need to show the USCIS, another agency, that this worker is basically skilled in the work that you require, and that as an employer, you have the ability to pay, and that your business is a legitimate business in need of this type of worker. If you are approved at the second stage, then you move on to the third stage, which is for your worker and their family to apply for the green card. And there are many important details that need to be discussed and considered in this application, but in a very simple manner for you to know. The first two stages of this process involve the employer making the payments, engaging with the attorneys, and the last one is basically the applications by the worker who has been certified and approved to move forward. And at that point, they need to make sure that they have absolutely no visa violations, no work without authorization, and no eligibility issues at the time that they apply for a green card. Otherwise, we do not even recommend it. If they are in the United States of America with a valid visa at the time that this is available to them, they need to apply here in America. And once they apply for adjustment of status based on everything else being done correctly, then they can stay and wait for that application to be processed without leaving the US. However, if they're not in the US at the time the first and then the second stages are done, they may need to do consular process, and it's a different type of processing, but typically the forms and informations and documentation that they're required to submit are somewhat similar to each other. But they need to make sure that they have absolutely no violations. Otherwise, if they apply, they may get denied, but also they may get deported if an NTA is issued. Now we are going to talk about what happens in between the second and third stage. It's very important because many people believe that once you're approved for the first stage of PERM and then approved for the I-140, then you can go ahead and apply for adjustment in status. That is not true, because even if the employer applies, everything is approved. If the employee is approved for I-140, we still need to wait for the visa to be available to that employee, and that means a priority date. And I know it's very confusing on the USCIS website to understand how soon or how late that's going to take, because during this time, the employee needs to maintain a valid status, otherwise everything goes into the trash, basically. So make sure that you're checking the priority dates. Both your attorney and you are responsible to monitor all this information, and make sure that you're checking the priority date based on the application filed. And this may be different for different applications, so this is not legal advice. Make sure that you are contacting your attorney and discussing in detail what to expect. The PERM process involves the employers applying for their employees to become permanent legal residents in America based on the work that they're performing. It's absolutely not guaranteed, and at every stage it may be denied, it may be delayed, it may be canceled for different reasons. So it's very important that you have a detailed discussion of expectations and that you do not have any unauthorized state or unauthorized work history in America. Otherwise, even if everything is approved, you may lose your chance at a green card. Thank you so much for listening. Please reach out to us at helenforamerica.com, and I look forward to speaking with you.